Hello students, welcome to the second session for 11th Standard Science Biology dealing with the chapter The Living World. Well, up till now we have seen the characteristics of the living organisms, that is the growth, reproduction, the metabolism, the self-consciousness and the cellular organization. Now today our main focus of attention is on the diversity of the living organisms. Now what do we understand by the word diversity? Basically, the English meaning of the term diversity means the variations. But here we are dealing with the living organisms. So it is therefore known as the biodiversity. So the variety, the variations that we observe in relation to the living organisms, that is said to be the biodiversity. Now there are millions and millions of plants and animals which are there on the surface of the earth at various numerous places. A lot of species are identified and a lot of species are still left to be identified. Around about 1.7 to 1.8 million species of the organisms have been identified, but still millions of them are still left to be identified and they are still unknown. So, how to identify the characteristics of these organisms? How to name them? So, a lot of questions might arise in the minds of the biologist. So, the process of naming the organisms is said to be the nomenclature. But in order to name these organisms, first we need to classify. And this process of the distribution of the organisms on the basis of some sort of similar characteristics, that is said to be the classification. So first we need to classify the organisms into specific groups. Just as at our home, in the kitchen, there are specific places for the cups only, specific places for the saucers, specific places for the spoons and specific place for the plates. There is no haphazard distribution of the things. Exactly in a similar way, here we need to classify the organisms by the process known as the classification so that the study becomes easy. Furthermore, after the classification, we need to name the organisms. So that naming is basically done by means of the process known as the nomenclature. Now there are specific organizations for the plants as well as for the animals for naming the organizations. For naming the organisms, I should say. And these organizations are International Code for Botanical Nomenclature in case of the plants and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature for the animals. So these two organizations are basically involved in the naming of the organisms, the plants as well as the animals. Now, how to name the organisms? So there was one scientist known as the Carolus Linnaeus. He stated that there are two names which are given to the organisms because the common name has a lot of variations. So there should be one scientific name that should be given to the organisms. And this process of giving the names is known as the nomenclature. But here he used two names for the organisms. So it is said to be the binomial nomenclature. So let us go into the crux of this binomial nomenclature. There are various rules for this binomial nomenclature, that is for giving the names to the organisms. The first rule, the scientific names of these organisms are in the Latin and they are written in italics. The second one, there are two names to the organisms. So the first name is said to be the genus or the generic name, and the second name is said to be the species or the specific name. The third one, the first letter of the generic name should be in capital letters Rest all the letters of the genus and the species should be in small letters. And when we write down the names of these generic and the specific names, we need to underline them individually, not together. And the next rule, that is, the scientist who identifies these organisms, the initial of the scientist must be written at the last, that is after the species name. Just as, for example, the scientific name of the mango, that is the Mangifera indica. Now Mangifera is the generic name and indica is the specific name. And if we write down the name of the initial of the scientist, then it becomes Mangifera indica L. L for the Carolus Linnaeus. So the Linnaeus L is written there. So this grouping of the organisms that is basically done, that grouping of the organisms, that classification of the organisms on the basis of the groups. So such groups are known as the taxa. And this process of making such groups, making such taxa on the basis of some sort of similar characteristics, that is said to be the taxonomy. Now how it is done? It is not done in a haphazard manner. It is done by the process known as the systematics. So the systematics, that is the process of systematically identifying the characteristics and distributing the organisms on the basis of the similar characteristics, that is said to be the systematics. Well, moving on to the taxonomic characteristics and basically classifying these organisms into specific groups, that is said to be the taxonomic category. So there are various categories with which these organisms are mainly categorized, and that is said to be the taxonomic hierarchy. The English meaning of the word hierarchy means from either the lower level to the higher level or from the higher level to the lower level. So these organisms are mainly grouped on the basis of the taxonomic hierarchy. So which are these taxonomic hierarchy? The first one is the species. So what do we understand by the word species? So group of organisms having the fundamental characteristics, that is said to be the species. There are numerous examples of it, but we'll be focusing on one basic example, that is the humans. Now the scientific name of the humans is Homo sapiens. So Homo is the generic name and the sapiens is the species name. So all the humans, they belong to one common species, that is the sapiens. The second most hierarchy is the genus. So a group of the species which unite together, they form the specific genus. As for example, the scientific name of the lion, that is the Panthera leo, and the scientific name of the tiger, that is the Panthera tigris. Here the generic name is the Panthera, that is the genus name is the Panthera. So lion and tiger, they both belong to one common genus, that is the Panthera. The third taxonomic hierarchy is the family. Just as we have our own family, where the group of the individuals, they have some sort of the common characteristics. Exactly in a similar way, there are organisms who have differences in the characteristics, but still there is some sort of commonness. Just as for example, the cats, dogs, the lions and the tigers, there are a lot of differences in them, but all of them, they belong to one common category, that is on the basis of the presence of whiskers. Whiskers means the long hair, straight hair, which are found just above the mouth. They are said to be the whiskers. So therefore lion, tiger and the cats, they belong to one family, that is the cat family. Now let us understand all these things that we have discussed, that is the diversity and the hierarchy, in much detail with the help of a small animation. There are millions and millions of plants and animals on the surface of the earth. India too has a lot of plants and animals. Furthermore, these organisms need to be grouped into the particular categories so that the classification becomes much easier. Moreover, 1.7 to 1.8 million species of the organisms have been identified. Still, a lot of them are unknown to us. There are a lot of species in India. These species have a huge role to play in our life. These unidentified species, as well as the other identified species, are studied in much detail with the help of the respective known characteristics. And these characteristics are nothing but the identification. So, whether it is in relation to the plants or the animals, the identification and the naming is done by various organizations for the plants as well as for the animals. So, we have the plant nomenclature as well as the animal nomenclature. And these organizations are responsible for giving the scientific name that is universal to the entire global scenario. Furthermore, focusing on the scientific names, as for example, Ficus religiosa. The first name is the generic name and the second name is the species or the specific name. So, this process of giving the names is said to be the binomial nomenclature. It was given by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus, and at the end we can put the initial of the scientist, that is the L or the LINN also. Furthermore, in relation to the naming, the scientific names are in the Latin language. But when we write down with our hand, it is to be underlined individually, not together. The first letter of the genus is always in capital, the rest all are small. This classification is very much necessary for the proper identification. So, the grouping of the organisms in various categories, that is the plants, animals, flowers and the other organisms, is must. So, these groups are known as the taxa. So, taxa is nothing but the group of organisms with a lot of fundamental characteristics. So, the cats, they belong to the mammals, and mammals, they are ultimately in the group of the animals. Furthermore, the Homo sapiens, they are also having the group that is the Homo, and this process is said to be the taxonomy. So, likewise, all these things are not done in a haphazard way but in a systematic way. So, identification plus classification in a very systematic way gives rise to the proper groups of the organisms, like the insects, the plants as well as the animals. Now, focusing on the taxonomic characteristics, that is the categories, right from the lowermost level to the higher level, they are the species, genus, family, order, class, phylum and the kingdom. This is nothing but the hierarchy. This hierarchy is from either the lower level to the higher level or from the higher level to the lower level. And this hierarchy ultimately helps us in the proper identification of the organisms. So, let us go into the crux of these taxonomic categories. The first one, that is the species. Species is nothing but a group of individuals having the fundamental or the basic characteristics. So, these are the various examples of it, having the fundamental or the basic characteristics. The next one is the genus. The Panthera tigris and the Panthera pardus having the common genus, that is the Panthera. Here the Fucus is the common genus. The Panthera in all these animals is the common genuses. Likewise, in case of the family also, a group of individuals having a lot of similar characteristics. As for example, in case of the oranges also. So they have the typical citrus family. Likewise, in case of the other family, that is the lions, leopards, the tigers, the cats, they belong to the cat family. So that was about the biodiversity in case of the living world and the taxonomic categories dealing with the species, the genus and the family. Well, in the next class we shall proceed in much detail with the other taxonomic categories and about the herbariums and the museums. Thank you very much.